We're not on the line, we're insane, we'll eat your brain!
I would describe myself as awkward.
That's what I'm gonna do. This is what ultimate looks like.
And nerdy.
Wow.
And dorky. And geeky.
Hey Laurel, how you feeling today?
Good.
I guess. All of those things.
Well, I was picked on a lot, especially after maybe starting in the 5th grade. I was picked on a lot because I guess that's when I started to gain weight a little bit. I don't know, I didn't really fit in. So when I was quite young, it was a lot of kids picking on me.
I didn't ever really feel like I was a typical college student because I wasn't really interested in the parties or the drinking or all the other social things, and I wasn't ever really involved on campus in anything, and I never lived on campus, so they're not the kind of people I would have expected to ever meet, and definitely not become friends with and have coming to parties.
Now, you know, kind of getting back to being comfortable with who I am and not really worrying about what people are going to say or think, and that's definitely a result of hanging out with people who are just like cool to hang out with me. They're like, yeah, no, we just, you know, want you to come out, whatever. It's like, okay, I can do that. I can be me. That's easy.
Vegetable off! Vegetable off!
Who's got a veggie?
Who's got a vegetable? Yeah.
Who's got a veggie?
You got one, Laurel? Okay, Laurel's got a veggie.
Back to back.
Back to back, cut it off.
Count of 3. 1,
Laurel.
2, 3.
Eggplant!
You didn't even try!
Ultimate has changed my college life in that I probably get out more than I would have otherwise. I still stay at home quite a lot, but I have more friends that like to go out and do things.
I don't get to tell myself excuses anymore. It means that I get to just go out and do something with abandon, which is not something that I likely to do. I can just go on the field and run my ass off and not worry about it or think about it, whereas before I would probably be judging myself the whole time. So it's like when I play, I just get to play and there's nothing else.
I would say the people around me now have pushed my comfort zones a little bit, or a lot, sometimes.
Let's do this.
People that I've made friends with that I didn't think I would are people like Brad and Tim and Blaine. Ian, oh yes, Ian, who are all very much in shape, and just, they seem to me more like typical college people.
Yeah, I'm gonna eat. Right off the plate. You know how it is.
There have been a lot of people who have really made a positive impact on my life. And I mean, first Laurel, who dragged me out to begin with. I mean, we kind of both tugged on each other to get into league. We were terrified. Ian is amazing. He's a lot of fun. He's like my little brother, even though he's older than me. He's been just great, and he's given me a lot of really great advice because he's lost a lot of weight himself, and so he kind of identifies with a lot of the feelings that I go through, and he somehow manages to always make me positive when I just feel like kicking something.
There's not any better incentive to play here.
Brad is the one who has definitely dragged me kicking and screaming into the world of social adulthood. And I've just really tried to go with it. Sometimes it's been uncomfortable, but overall, it's been really, really great for me.
I never really thought that we would have any similar interests, but it turns out we do. A lot of, like, maybe we like the same video games, or which is usually the case. But we can all unite around Ultimate anyway, so.
Ultimate is really a community, so there's like always something going on or someone you can talk to, and there's a lot of people with a lot of varied interests even, so you're likely to find people you get along with no matter what.
Alaska bush pilots always say, where the road ends, the real Alaska begins. Without a single connecting road, communities in western Alaska can only be reached by air. Villages located on the Yukon River have more options. Residents in these villages drive snow machines to nearby villages in winter and by boat during the summer. Unlike the popular tourist sites in Alaska, this region remains untouched. Groceries and mail are prohibitively expensive since they are transported by air and boat. To avoid such high costs, most Native Alaskans in this region hunt and fish on the wide land. Recently, the State Department of Transportation decided to build a road to this remote region of Alaska. A recent study determined the route of the road from Fairbanks, Manly Hot Springs, to Nome. The primary objectives of the road are to provide access to western Alaska and develop resources in that region. The 500-mile road will start at Manly Hot Springs, then run westward to connect with Ruby, the hometown of Emmett Peters. Peters is a lifelong resident of Ruby. He has run the 1,100-mile Iditarod race 13 times and won the race in 1975. As an Athabascan Alaska native, he enjoys the traditional subsistence lifestyle.
When you get all this open space, available, that people are going to take advantage of it by coming and using the roads, and God knows what happened, what's going to go on. They might kill all the game, and we don't want that, and ruin the fishing. And that fishing is our main resource here in Alaska. We depend on that.
Peter's wife, Edna, agrees that the road would make an impact on life in Ruby.
From
people driving in our backyards and poaching animals and bringing in unwanted drugs or booze or anything like that. I can't think of one saving grace.
Edna also worries it will bring car-related accidents.
People don't know how to act in the wilderness.
For the Peters family, this road may be a threat to their way of life. But for Rachel Wheel, a bed and breakfast owner, the road brings her hope. Rachel hopes the road will bring more job opportunities so her husband can work in town.
There's no jobs here for him. That's why he works in Prudhoe Bay. And I think tourism would be another thing. Some people are against tourism, but I'm not. You know, I'm a bed and breakfast owner, so I think it would bring really good business to this community.
After passing through Ruby, the road will connect with Galena, a major transportation hub for nearby villages, including Koyukuk and Nolato. In the winter, these villages can only be reached by air. In one day, ERA airline pilot Owen Miller made 12 flights to the rural communities. Most of the time, there are only a couple of people on the plane. He says the airline company is losing money now, and if they build a road, the situation could be worse.
As a pilot, I think if we were to have a road, we would lose even more money. More goods would be sent in, so we would not have as much cargo on board.
He also believes that the road construction crews will hire large numbers of employees from the lower 48.
With building a road with locals out here in the Galena area, I think that there's not a large number of individuals that have the skill set that would be able to provide construction of a road.
The road will finally reach Nome through Native Village Council, which already has a road to Nome. Residents and council are concerned about the development that comes with the road. Barbara Vial, who works for the Native Village Council, says the mining company is her biggest fear.
Like I said, they're not building this road so our bread is cheaper. They're building the road so they can dig whatever it is we have in our ground and take it and leave. Road is going to bring development. And development, you know, they're going to be digging big holes in the ground. They're going to.
Residents in Nome look at this project more positively than other villagers, not only because they have more skilled workers in Nome, but they are also less worried about the impact to the subsistence lifestyle. Nome Eskimo native Steve Longley doesn't think the road will hurt their hunting.
A lot of people aren't going to drive 500, 600 miles to shoot a moose. You know, those same people, they're going to fly in here if they want to shoot a moose. So it's not. I don't think it's going to make it much worse. You know.
The pros and cons of constructing the 500-mile road to Nome have been debated for more than 100 years. It's unclear if there will ever be sufficient funding and local support to connect the dots between native villages.
A quote from Carlin Itchok: "Reasons and why we do things are still the same." And I think in relation to dancing, it really shows that. We still get together and dance. And though maybe our stories have changed, the real reason is to uplift everyone's spirits and to instill pride and a sense of community within each other.
I think culture is very important for anybody, really, even non-Native Alaskans, but Native Alaskans and Native Americans in particular really need to save their cultures and, you know, perpetuate them and know them so that, you know, their children will be able to know them as well, because they're just so close to not even being here. I mean, we can't risk losing that part of us.
I started off dancing, primarily just at invitational dances, getting used to the rhythm and participating with everybody. And it wasn't until I moved to Anchorage in '96 that I started being exposed to many different styles of dancing, not just Inupiaq styles. And my mother was working at the Alaska Native Heritage Center. My grandparents on my dad's side came to visit from Wisconsin in 2000. And we took them to the Heritage Center. We went on a tour around the lake, and it was at the Qazriq, the Yupik house, that James Afghan was giving a presentation, and he was explaining the house and that it was a community place to dance. And he grabbed some men's dance fans and handed me some women's dance fans. He got on his knees and he said, "Just follow my motions." So it was on the spot that I really learned, and then I started going to his dance practices. So a lot of my dancing actually has Yupik roots, although I am Inupiaq.
These are our men's style dance fans. This is one type of men's style dance fans. They're made with hoops, some type of tie. This one looks like a string, and feathers. Other styles might be made of a single piece of wood with drilled out holes for the handle and whatnot. But as you can see, they have 5 feathers on each fan. And I was told that that represents animals of the sea, animals of the land, animals of the sky, plants and berries, and humans. And the circles represent the earth, or our world, and Samyo, the spirit of the world. And that's not something I hear too often, but I was told, and it's just really interesting to know. But they say we use these dance fans because dancing is a very spiritual time, and it's a time when your spirit can leave through your hands. Your hands are very strong, a strong part of your body, and bad spirits can even come through your hands. And so dance fans in a way are kind of protection, but it also looks really nice.
They did their Eskimo dancing with great joy and pleasure, and it was a sort of a healing event for all the different mental ailments a community might have experienced over the course of winter. So, and this brought great joy to the people. Today, I see a significant change in that the meaning of many of these ceremonies, the meaning of songs are being forgotten because, in a sense, they were outlawed by the Christian organizations for so many years in the Arctic areas.
I have Norwegian, Irish, and all these other ancestries, but when it comes down to it, I call myself Haida because that's the way I live. It's not who I'm related to, you know. It's how I live my life.
When I was first taught how to dance in a traditional style, there was a good friend of mine by the name of Hagu and Terry Peel, and he came up to me one day and he just wanted to teach me how to dance. And so he was telling me about, you know, how the Haidas used to dance and all this kind of stuff. And he was showing me how to be, you know, how to show off. And that was basically what he told me, is that Haida dancing is all about showing off. You know, when you get down low, it's to show off how strong you are. And, you know, when you shake with the drum beat, it's to show off that you can feel it going through you. And
I think some young people are too afraid to just loosen up, and like the old people, they're so loose and vigorous, and you know, they use their whole body. And I think that's what I love the most about the elders, is that they know how to break it down.
Culture is kind of life, really. I mean, it's just the way you do things. And without it, I mean, where are we going?
If you have a film that you'd like to see broadcast on public television, consider submitting it today. Short stories, animations, documentaries, and experimental films will all be considered. For details on how to submit your work, visit kuac.org/akshorts.